What up, y'all? This is Patrick Hayes, and I decided to do another car video because I kind of like it. It's very relaxed, and I'm in my element when I'm driving. So what I want to talk about today is this idea of never repeating, never the same thing twice. This is something that, I think Bashar actually did a thing about this where he's like, never the same thing twice. He did like this whole thing on it. You could probably look that up. I know his stuff's a little bit harder to find now. But this idea that no moment actually repeats. Every single thing that we experience is brand new, it's fresh. And the value in understanding this is that you never have to repeat an old vibration or an old energy. And you never have to because you know this. When you don't really give enough credence to this idea that things never repeat, we're in a realm of repeatlessness. When you don't give credence to this, then what happens is every time you see something that reminds you of your idea about it, you basically are seeing your idea about it as opposed to seeing the real thing. So you're getting in your own way of perception by re-perceiving your past experience. We've all heard of this when it is in the context of trauma. So if you're traumatized by something, then when you see something that reminds you of that, you'll see it through the lens of that trauma and you'll react to it the same. But this actually goes a lot deeper than trauma, because this becomes, even when it's not traumatic interpretations, it becomes like a prison for us, because everything we see then becomes just a reflection of what we've seen it as before. And we miss the opportunity to reinterpret or see it in a fresh way that can give us a breath of fresh air so we can see something new. And what I've found is that almost anything that I look at, if I look deeper at it, there's something more there. And oftentimes it will surprise me at how much different and how new of an interpretation I have when I give it a fresh start. So I look at it from a clean slate. It's a great thing to practice, actually, to look at things that you're used to looking at, that you already have an opinion about, and just saying, how could I interpret this in a completely fresh, different way? This is a great way to keep yourself open, to expand your openness, and to give you the capacity to shift yourself if you feel blocked in a lot of areas. So if you feel blocked in certain areas where there are certain things that you just can't shake your opinion on, and they are a rigid opinion, but you want to change them, a great way of being able to prep yourself to be able to see it in a fresh way is to practice seeing other things that you have less of a charge surrounding from a new perspective. So a good example of this is, I was once told by a Native American man that the way that they perceived fire when it's logs that you're burning is that the fire coming off of the log is actually the trapped sunlight that was trapped into the wood. So that a tree is absorbing sunlight its entire life, and that sunlight then becomes the nourishment that held the tree together. It becomes part of the tree. But then that sunlight is trapped inside that log unless you set it free. And when you set it free by lighting it on fire, then the light in the flames that you're seeing is actually the sunlight being released from the wood. And I thought, wow, that's such a cool way of looking at it. And it totally reframes and recontextualizes my whole relationship to fire, a wood fire that I'm observing. And it actually brings this mystical edge to it. And whether it's like actually scientifically accurate or not, it has metaphoric power to it. So it has value nonetheless. And so this is an example of how when you look at something different, or you start developing the capacity to question things and look at things in different ways, that you can change your whole perspective of certain things that might have seemed like they were fixed in some way. And this is a tremendously powerful practice for being able to create the malleability within your consciousness to be able to start reinterpreting other things that you might have more of a charged fix on. So things that feel like you can't necessarily reinterpret them. So that's what I have to share about that. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Patrick Hayes. Like, subscribe, share with your friends. If you haven't hit the bell button, make sure you hit the bell button, and you will be notified from now on every time I release a video so that you can tune in as soon as I release it. And I'm super excited to continue sharing awesome content with you. So thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you next time. One love.